Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Pedro and Hannibal YouTube channel. We've been gone for quite a bit. I guess we'll talk about what we were
Yeah,
doing a little bit,
yeah. It's been a
as
week.
well as you guys see the thumbnail. You guys see the. If you at this point, if you've been online for the last 24 hours, you have to have seen this video. You'll
Oh yeah.
have to have seen memes about it. It is one of those videos that a lot of questions are asked and at least need to be answered, like deeper discussions, or
Mm,
it maybe
mm.
not, right? Maybe it's not as big a deal than where people are thinking it is. So we're gonna talk a little bit about that. But first, Pedro, how are you doing? Me and you
Mm.
were hanging out
Yeah,
for a
man.
couple of days while we were
Yeah,
having a peaceful time. Some other parts
yeah.
of the country wasn't so peaceful. But how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Yeah. So me and Hannibal hung out for the third time now.
Yeah,
That
you're
was the
like we're like
third time we had.
friends.
We're basically friends now. We weren't last week, but we are now.
Nah,
Um, and it's all. Listen, we had a great what I since Thursday to Saturday night. Fantastic times. We were in Denver, Colorado for a conference, and just an amazing time out there. People were great. Ran into a lot of great people. Had some food, some drinks, some laughs, some combos. It was a really, really good few days. So glad to be back to normal, whatever a sense of normality is. And yeah, man, it was good. It's always good seeing you, man. So, and we're gonna do that again here soon. We'll talk about that maybe at a different date. But we got
Yeah,
something special
yeah,
planned
we got some
next month. So
yeah, definitely got some special plans.
yeah,
We're definitely gonna be talking about it because that's actually really related to what we do on the channel. So that's gonna be a
absolutely.
fantastic time. Thank you for everyone who's already hanging out with us so far, and anyone who actually catches the replay.
What's up,
Get
Gig
Giggity
Giggity?
came in, said, "Let me catch Pedro on the riverboat."
Let me tell you,
Yeah,
Giggity, I would be if I was any of those people. I don't know who I would be, but I would have been. I don't know what I would have done. Maybe we can get in. Maybe I'll ask Hannibal
listen, we're gonna have a
what kind
full
of role he thought
video
he'd play.
breakdown.
But
Yeah, we're gonna have a
yeah,
full
we're gonna get
breakdown
into
of
it.
the
We're
whole
gonna get into
thing because yeah, there's a lot to digest and understand, like what the hell is going on.
it. Yeah,
But yeah, so yeah, fantastic time in Colorado. Love the weather. Big fan of that weather. When I
yeah,
came back to New York City,
yeah.
I'm like, what the hell is this? Why is it so hot? I had, like, regular pants on, and when I came back Sunday, I'm like, I gotta put back the shorts. Like, I walk around like a bum a little bit just to have less clothes on. It was so disgustingly hot coming back to New York City, and then the smell. And then my woman was already giving me she was already giving me the business, giving me the attitude as soon as I got off the plane because I told her where the I guess I was wrong of where she should have been. She was
Mm,
already giving me the attitude. I'm like, wait a minute, woman. I didn't have not one negative interaction for 72 hours. And right back in New York City, my wife greeted me with the New York City attitude, even
welcome
though it
home.
was my fault. I think I was wrong, but it doesn't matter. She could have been nicer, but it's all right. I definitely missed her. Um, I was thinking about Colorado and rappers, right? I was like, hey, we come back from
Yeah,
the trip. I
yeah.
was like, what's some famous Colorado rappers? There isn't any at
I
all.
can't.
I
Yeah.
I even typed. I even asked technology, like, name some rappers from Denver. I'm not going to repeat any of them. You don't know any of them. I
Because we
don't
don't
know
know
any
any
of
of
them,
them. Yeah.
like, at all. Dirty Zan, they call him AP. Big Trip. I don't know who these people are. So
Mm-mm.
I would say one thing: they got great people, very nice. Everyone was nice, regardless of what was
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah.
Buying
Yeah.
marijuana. Everyone was just super super nice. The restaurants, the staff.
Yeah.
They needed the only one problem I have with Colorado. They got to get their rappers out. They got to get some really
They got to get the
talented
rap
guys.
game up a little bit. Yeah. But
Yeah.
overall, obviously,
Um.
we didn't even partake in the whole mountains and the hiking.
Yeah. We
That's
kind of missed
another
that out.
time. But
Yeah.
obviously, very beautiful landscape. Up and coming city in the way of development. A lot of things happening.
Oh yeah.
Big
Definitely.
city, bigger than I thought. I didn't. Just a lot of people,
Yeah.
a lot of people, a lot of traffic. But obviously, a great time. I'll be back. I'll
Yeah.
definitely go back there. So.
Definitely. Giggity had a question. Wasn't Don Denver a rapper? No.
No, I don't think so. He's got has a West Virginia, Rocky Mountain. Isn't
Yeah.
that John
No,
Denver?
I'm sure
Yeah,
they got great musicians. I think the problem
yeah,
is things are so nice there. What while they're rapping, I don't know. I'm sure they
yeah.
made. I don't know if there were some hoods. We didn't go in any hood areas. But I
No,
don't
we
maybe they
didn't.
don't have any, and
We
life is
definitely
pretty
saw some
decent.
home. There's so definitely some homeless people. Like there's a lot of
Right.
homeless there just around, but
Mm.
they all still were kind of smiling. So I don't know what's going on in Denver. Like maybe it's the
Got
weed. I don't know.
maybe he's just chilling.
The
Because
edibles.
yeah,
Who
the we
knows?
we
I don't
have
know.
weed here now, and we're still really mad at it. So it's more about that
Yeah.
culture and that vibe. But yeah, definitely had
Yeah.
a great time over there. And
Definitely.
oh yeah, so the last night, me and Pedro hung out. We watched
Hmm.
the Jake Paul Nate Diaz fight.
Yeah.
I know Pedro is not the biggest fan of some of these influencer fights,
Yeah.
um, but I thought the fight was decent.
I wasn't
Clearly,
bored by it at all.
yeah, what,
I was
yeah,
entertained. I was entertained.
yeah.
So
Yeah. It's a really, you could tell a tactic that Logan brothers do or have where they antagonize fighters to jump into a sport they're not professionals in. And
yeah,
they've been
kind
doing
of a
this for
bigger
quite a
name
while.
past their prime. A bigger name past their
Exactly.
prime, or yeah.
Yeah. And but they're good enough and faster enough because those two are athletes. They're athletes. I mean, we're
Very,
not
very, very much so. Yeah.
right. So they got the speed, they got the strength, and I think Jake was just faster than him. If this
Yeah.
was a 12-round fight, because Nate seemed to kind of figure it out, and that's one thing the Nate brothers have, the Diaz brothers have. They have stamina, and they can
Yeah.
take a lot of hits or whatever.
They're
But
tough. They're very
maybe
tough. Yeah.
it could have maybe made the fight interesting if they had 2 more rounds. I don't know if he would have won, but that's my conclusion. I think
Yeah.
Jake took in charge of the fight. Nate started to figure things out, pushed him a little bit. Jake kind of got winded, but it's a 10-round fight, so you had enough time to finish it.
Yeah. Yeah. It was fun. It wasn't a great fight. The fight we saw before, two women fighting, was better, and we only saw like
Yes.
3 rounds of that. That was amazing,
Yeah.
right?
I should get I
Serrano
respect them. Let me
and
get the names.
yeah,
Serrano and someone else.
dude, that they were
Yeah.
going at it, going at it. And Serrano had clearly had control most of the fight, you can tell, but like the other girl was just still coming at her even after getting pummeled. Really, both of them throwing punches. I mean, that was
Yeah.
fun. But it was,
Definitely.
I was
Yeah.
entertained. I was, I had a gummy, had an edible, so I was a little high. It was a good night. I was just feeling pretty decent. I'm chilling with my
Yeah.
boy. Like we just at the bar, just relaxing after a long weekend.
Yeah, long weekend, successful
It was
weekend, but
good.
it wasn't
Yeah.
bad. We saw
No.
worse fights. Yeah, so
Oh yeah. Oh
Amanda
yeah.
Serrano defeat Heather Hardy.
Hmm.
Heather was just taking a lot of punches in the face, but she kept
Her
going. That's
face
kind
was
of the
like,
swollen
yeah,
a little bit. But Gigi said Nate's no boxer. Time.
he's not.
Yeah, exactly. And Paul kind of did the, oh man, I'll go in the I'll go in the cage with you, like he would do that. That'll be stupid.
He's gonna get smoked if he goes in a cage with any
Right.
MMA fighters. No way.
Right. Because there was a few times where a boxer did show up. It was James Toney with Randy Couture. Randy didn't even attempt to box the dude when the fight started. I remember watching this. Probably paid pay-per-view fee like a fool. Took the dude down, submitted him like in the first round. Because why would you even bother trying to box James Toney, Hall of Fame boxer? No, just take the dude down and armbar him, or so that was exactly what happened.
Make him feel uncomfortable. It's something he's not. Even when you train, you can train for a few months. That guy's been doing it for his whole life. So the comfortability or lack thereof when you're on the mats or you're getting kicked or you're getting armbarred, like no way, man. Paul, he's not ready for that with Diaz.
No, definitely. But I guess the charade. I won't even call it a charade. It's a circus. He's a prize fighter. The man made, I think, $1.5 million for that fight, and Nate got about $500,000. Nate's not gonna complain.
I would have thought it would have been more than 1 point. I mean, that's a great payday. I thought maybe it would have been more.
Yeah, it says according to sports payouts. Yeah, Nate got that, but it's the potential to reach 1.5 million based on the pay-per-view numbers. Jake Paul got 1.5, and he can get up to 2 based on the pay-per-view numbers.
Got it.
I don't know how popular it was at the bar. People were really excited for Nate Diaz, and good thing I didn't bet any money because I couldn't get into my FanDuel account.
Right? Yeah,
but I would have wasted money because I would have
wasted that $25. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
like our Dominican friend did at the bar, I think.
Yeah. People, I think that's the problem too with betting. You lead with your emotions, and you wind up losing your money. But other than that, it was a decent fight. It wasn't like the greatest thing, but what we're gonna be talking about right now is probably a way more interesting fight.
Man,
They could have, if they would have charged this and I knew this was going to happen, I would have gladly played to watch. But it was also pretty terrible. So let's just look up. We're going to just kind of get the, I guess, the play-by-play, or at least the background, some context.
For those of you that have been under a rock for today, if you're online or watching news, you've seen this. If you haven't,
I think my mother has to have seen it. I think she has. Yeah. My wife saw it, and she barely touches social media. She still calls it the social media. That's how old she acts sometimes. But even someone at work is like, "Yo, you got to watch this." So this happened in Montgomery, Alabama, 200 block of Coosa Street. Not sure if I'm pronouncing that. Happened around 7 p.m. So a pontoon boat was blocking the dock space needed for the park of big ass Riverboat, Harlot 2. And basically what happened was you call it dock worker, an employee, whatever, security guard said, "Hey, frat bros." Because the white guys, they're like frat bros. Got
So white guys with board shorts and backwards hats are frat bros.
No shirt on, drinking.
If you're white, please don't be offended. It is what it is. You're fine.
Hey, listen, I want to be. I want to one day do the whole pontoon boat thing.
I've been on them,
obviously. Just drinking. No. Right.
Yes.
He tells them to move because this space is reserved. You have to move your boat. You don't know what's said, but the video shows that they basically start getting into a physical altercation, and the white dudes start to basically jump this one man, black guy, little definitely older. But you can see in the beginning of the video, he realizes, security guy realizes this is a fight, throws his hat up like Bobby Shmurda.
Bobby Shmurda, boy.
He legit did. He's like, all right, well, I guess we're in a fight.
Let me ask you a question. That's intentional, right? That's intentional, correct?
Him throwing
his hat up. That's a sign.
Attitude. He's upset. Okay. Yeah, he's like, all right, we're going to fight, and it basically becomes a race war. I mean, what else I'm going to say, man? Black dudes start coming out. One is swimming. I think it's actually an employee. Probably saw somebody that
he's a 16-year-old kid.
Oh, jeez.
So the person that was swimming is a 16-year-old football player. And he said that he's been raised by his mom and dad. When you see something wrong, like you step in. So he saw that the guy getting beat up by 6, 7, 8 guys and said, I'm going to help that person over there. And he swam and got out the water and took his shoes off and was like,
and he broke so many stereotypes because Pedro likes to laugh at me about this. I can't swim and most of us can't. And this broke a lot of barriers. Like a black kid is swimming.
So now we know water is not a barrier for black men. They can swim. Yes.
I'm gonna learn based on it. Oh, do you want to watch and kind of stop as we go, or what do you want to do?
I think let's watch some of it for context.
We'll watch it. Okay, I'll watch a little bit.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's not too loud. If you want me to pause, kind of just yell out. I don't have it too loud. So
let's watch this, guys. I want you guys to see this and tell me what you think.
Now I don't know if I should.
Whoa! There you go.
Yeah. Boom. There you go. Now it's a 1-on-1. All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
So why is his boys coming in? It's 1-on-1.
That's where.
That's the issue.
They seem confused, and then there's one dude super aggressive. So let me pause it right here. That's the problem. I mean, first is the problem anyway. You're attacking a security guard that's telling you to move, even if he's disrespectful. What you do is, and this we're talking about if this is not a race thing, but all right, security guard is giving you an attitude, telling you to move the boat, but you don't appreciate it. You can still contact the manager. You can still say, "Hey, this guy is disrespectful."
This is a guy. He's in uniform. He's a security. You did something wrong,
right?
So you're probably drunk, and that's the issue. Egos played a part here. But the guy's fighting one guy. Okay, let them fight. Why do you feel? And it wasn't like the security guard was bashing this guy's head on the ground where you need to step in and help your boy, because that's anybody would do that. It's pretty equal. So the guy to come in and have a high knee and kick the guy in the head, and he's the instigator of this,
All right, that's not how you break up a fight. I mean, I'm not saying I'm an expert in it, but you go in between. You don't rush the other guy. So that's where it went crazy, and we'll see a little bit more right now. So now I'm looking at it right now. Are they jumping him, or are they trying to break it up?
I think there is one guy here in the pink shorts with the hat that has a shirt on. He's trying to break it up.
Yeah, and then we see a young one
then we see the young
swimming
guy
to it because they
swimming.
think there's a problem.
Michael B. Phelps over here.
Right. But then it becomes a battle of
Yeah. Yeah.
It gets crazy. So let's see more of it. Oh, that's why you're saying get up, young boy. Okay. Okay. So
No,
now
this is the three guys that make me. This is funny. Pause it for a second here. Okay. So a little bit of context for you guys. The boat that was kind of in front of the pontoon boat that was illegally parked or docked or whatever is a boat called the Harriet Tubman or something like that.
Oh,
and
Jesus.
it's full of African American people that are having a good time, and they're seeing the security guard get jumped. Right. So they're just waiting to come. So he gets jumped, and the guys, the frat boys as we call them, they go back to their pontoon boat, and you see these three dudes running and skipping. And when you see dudes run into a fight and they're skipping and they're energized, they want the smoke. They're ready. And these dudes came and give these guys, they're on the boat, and they come and pretty much drag these guys off the boat and give them a whooping. So
shout out to Abby that's in the building. She said I watched videos for 3 hours straight. There's so many,
and like the inner, what do you call them? The reactions to them are better than the actual videos. You got people making stuff and they're like pausing it and showing this, and the guy with the chair, and like women getting pushed in the water. It's absolutely hilarious, but it's also very sad in some ways. Maybe we'll get into that too, right? So,
definitely. They're one of my favorite Instagram creators. I think already made like shirts and sweaters.
Oh, dude,
they're very artistic. But it's still funny of the scene of the guy throwing the hat in the air as the like. It's just so stupid.
There's a lot of money to be made. I've seen shirts with the whole try that in a small town. I want to get into that a little bit because there's a lot of irony here, and I think that's what makes it funny. There are shirts with the try that in a small town. Yeah, Montgomery, Alabama has a rich history of a lot of stuff,
down
right?
South, man.
So it's it's not a small town, but anyways, the irony of it is these guys tried that in a small town and got their ass whooped.
Yeah.
And these guys that were on the boat, I bet they were blasting that song while they were on that boat.
Maybe.
So the irony of it is kind of funny because they tried it in a small town and they got their ass whooped. So to me, it's funny. I have to laugh at that. So.
Garden State says the portals were opening up. So that's another funny. So you see the portals, like the dudes coming to help. But all right, so we're going to be really honest and try not to be too. I mean, that's saying biased. I'm sure Paige is not necessarily biased, but at this moment, could it have been over and nothing else could have like enough to be aggressive and say go back in that boat. You messed up. Stop. Right? Like I mean, again, everyone's probably full of adrenaline and liquor probably, but let's watch where they kind of got him back onto the pontoon boat basically. Let me see what else happens here. All right, so he threw a punch. Now these are security, right? These are all our workers.
Some of them are. Some.
Is that the same guy with the red shorts that ran at the security guard earlier?
I think so. There's one guy in reddish pink shorts that has a shirt on that seemed to be trying to be peacekeeper since the beginning and just kind of got caught up in it. But it seems like his friends or family, the other 3 or 4 guys, were the ones that wanted to fight. So
yeah, definitely. Oh my God! So you got the crew. Now this is when it goes full unhinged. You're not able to stop too much what's going on. I love the commentary there.
Yeah.
Women are getting beat up. Someone's getting in the water.
People getting thrown in the water. Yeah.
And the dudes, you gotta go at this point. Ooh, you don't do that.
Yeah.
That's it. When don't ever turn your back.
No.
You count and you turn. You're gonna get hit. You
gotta have your head on a swivel, hands up, figuring out what you're doing. Like you can
get on the boat. Get back on the boat.
Get on the boat. So, one of the guys jumps in the water. You see the one clip. The guy's like, I don't want, and he jumps in the water because he's tired. He's tired of getting hit. Now that's a little weird, but it is what it is.
Because also, so the other problem why this continued to go in the direction it went is when you do see one of your people getting beat up, or you want your girl, whatever. Now you kind of like, if you run, you even look like a bigger bitch. So you're
Yeah.
kind of stuck in this situation. When, like I
Yeah.
said, there's probably some of them that did not want to do any of this, and
Mm,
now they getting punched in the face. Like, yo, what's going on here, right?
mm, mm.
Um,
I want to point one thing out because
Go ahead.
obviously, because it's white dudes and black dudes, it becomes racial. That's just how the internet and the media is going to spin it, right? But I think I just want to remind us, because I think I'm trying to toe the line, and I'm not. It's not about one side. It's about right and wrong. If the dudes that parked illegally were black and they were jumping a black security guard, we might also see something similar happen. These things happen outside of clubs, grocery
Right.
stores. Like, people fight. Okay, so it's not about that it's white black. It's just the irony of all of it, and the timing, and the division of the country, and just all these things that happen, right? Because there was a worker before the one guy comes swimming. There was a worker there. He was white, and he tried to help the security guard. So
Right.
it's not always about like, oh, it's black versus white. Like, I think we have to understand, like, these are people, but there's a history in this area. So the irony of it, to me, is what's more funny than anything else, and it's very ironic.
Yeah.
Um, because people fight all the time, right? It just
Of
happened
course.
to be white guys and black dude. Like, that's what it
Yeah.
was, and it's going to make for more division, which is very unfortunate in my opinion, because we have that already too much right now. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah,
Garden State says, good point. Humans been fighting since the beginning. Media
that's
is
what I'm
going to
saying.
make it
Like,
racial, but humans have feelings. I would say for the most part, it depends. It really depends on what your perspective is already set. So if you
yeah,
have this
good point.
strong, either
Good point.
white people are bad or black people are bad, then
Yeah,
nothing, then it just validates whatever preconceived notions you have. But I would say for
absolutely.
the most part, especially the interact or like some of the memes, it's funny. Like people are
Oh, it's hilarious.
just like the
Yeah.
Waffle House fight when
Yes.
some someone tried to throw something at the chick. It was a white chick. She grabbed it out
She
of
grabbed a
midair. Like, this
chair,
is what.
or
So we
yeah,
yeah. It was like
yeah,
so she got honored from, like, well, if you're gonna work at a Waffle House, learn to fight, because for some reason battles is gonna happen. So
yeah.
I think for the most part, people have taken and kind of try to make fun of it. But there are
Yeah.
people who are like, this is what these people deserved. They deserve to
Mm-hmm.
get beat up. They were
Mm-hmm.
racist. When you say, like you say, we don't know, maybe,
We don't know
right?
what was said either. That's part of the problem, right? We see the security guard talking to the guys, and we see both of them being very. You can tell they're having a strong conversation. So we
Yeah, I've
don't know
seen, yeah.
what's being said either. So let's say the security guard's calling these dudes out. He's cussing at their
Yeah, get
wives.
the
He's
get the hell movie shit.
so as a
Right.
man, you got your wife. So we don't know that. So it's hard to say. You know, for me, it's not. I'm not mad at two guys fighting. Even if you want to fight a security guard, it is what it is. Maybe he disrespected your wife. Maybe he did it, and you're just drunk. It could be either. But it's
Right.
about all of them ganging up on one dude. That's not needed. It's not necessary in this situation, right? That's, to
Yeah.
me, I think, where that's good. I think it's one dude fighting one guy. Probably ain't nothing really happening. The fight probably ends after 30 seconds or so. But it's the
Yeah.
fact that the other guys came in and the guys on the ground, the optics of that, and you're around and you see your brother on the ground getting his ass whooped, you're gonna do something. There's
And that
300
was
people
the
on that boat. You're gonna all it takes is a
yeah.
couple people, and you're
That's
gonna
it.
you're gonna respond, right? So
Yeah. I'm sure you've had to deal with a friend or maybe a family member in a public spot drinking, maybe becoming an ass out of himself or herself.
absolutely, yeah,
And it's important when you are going through these altercations that you're not there to jump. You're there to mediate. You're there to separate. We've done it. I've done it. So when that one guy in the red rushes over to tackle, first of all, what are you doing?
yeah,
What did he see that you need to tackle this dude?
yeah.
Did he not see that it was a security? Like, again, alcohol probably played a big part of this.
I think so.
When you're drunk, you're not thinking clearly. And then, like I said, optics, because that's what everyone they already had the tape. So people were already recording. Something
Yeah,
must have already been happening when those people at the pontoon boat didn't want to move their boat. What are they arguing about?
Yeah.
I don't understand what the argument is. Did they rent that? That was their space. It wasn't. Clearly, it wasn't. So
and that's where part of the issue. That's where part of the issue comes in, because I've seen other people have an opinion of, well, these guys are white. They got white privilege. They don't feel like they're going to listen to a security guard. I'm fine. What's the big deal? The boat's not here yet. There's that privilege coming in, and some people have it, regardless of what race you are. You have privilege. You feel like you don't want to listen to a security guard. We've all been there. I've been there. I've had security guard tell me, "Hey, you can't park there," and I'll look at him like, "Really, man? I'll be in and out." Like we all have it in certain times of our life. Okay, let's not kid ourselves. But I think these guys took it to another level. All they had to do was move it.
Yeah. And
all this goes out of the way. Like we're not even having this conversation. We just do the right thing. So it's interesting. It's very ironic to me. But.
Yeah. Garda says, I definitely had to break up fights for friends. It's never worth it. Of course. And you don't want your friends to get caught up in a spot. I mean, the last, I don't really deal with a whole lot of people that just get stupid drunk and embarrass themselves. But sometimes even your good friends, they drink a little bit too much. Is not their normal behavior. It happens, right? Some drinks, you drink too many. Sometimes you get caught up. But I remember, one time where we all got kicked out of a bar, or it was it was kind of like a rooftop bar. You just kind of say, you try to apologize for him. Yeah, my bad. Yeah, he's kind of crazy. Or we'll leave. We'll all go. Don't worry about it, because that's how you do. If one of us get kicked out of somewhere, we all leaving, because we don't say, "Hey, bye. Hey, you fucked up."
Yeah, and it's usually the one that's not drunk, or the level-headed, mature one that kind of apologizes for the group, or one or two individuals, right? And that didn't happen here. It looked like
no. Well, at this point, it's already. We went past. We didn't get to any brawls when my friend is getting too drunk and bumped into the waiter and spilled ketchup all over himself, and then he's like, security kicks him out. Like, that's small stuff compared to this. Let me see if any more. It actually gets even crazier. I think there's some other stuff.
Yeah, let's play a little bit.
Look, the cops there don't even care at this point. All right, this one, this gets even more outrageous. I don't know too much of the context of this situation. There's multiple videos. I should have had more. I should have got more videos, different angles and whatnot, because there's so many that capture stuff. What happened here? And there's one guy that I don't know if he thinks he's in the WWE. You know what? I'll just keep playing it. Okay, so he's pushing. They're pushing some other people. This is the old man fight. These are old people. Ooh. Oh, what's going on? Okay, now you're gonna see this dude with a chair, and he's losing his mind. He's losing his mind. So this is the video's almost done. I just finished the rest of this. But this guy is probably going to get a serious charge. You can say this is assault with, I don't know if it's a deadly weapon.
I mean, he hits the one woman on the top of the head.
Yeah. So
that could have went a lot worse, right? I mean,
he may have a felony. I'll just say that.
A folding chair. You hit the square on top of somebody in the right spot, you could really mess them up.
Right. Let's play it real quick. Anything white, he's hitting it. Oh, this is the bad. This is bad part. Oh
yeah. But you see women. You see that woman there. It's like, hey, you can't do that. Like there are peacemakers here. Not everybody's doing something wrong.
Yeah, he's going to jail. Yeah. He may get the worst of all the charges.
He should go to jail.
You can't do that. The cop pushes her out. Is it possible everyone's just drunk? Right?
Obviously, alcohol plays a role. I think the mob mentality of people yelling and screaming and look at you just kind of black out, and after seeing somebody get jumped, and you're like, So the guy with the chair is a little over the top. Like that's not really necessary because nobody else had
Yeah,
chairs, nobody had weapons or using their fists. So like that's different.
yeah,
He
yeah,
didn't seem
definitely.
like he was being harmed, but obviously we're not there. But to pick up a chair and like, but I mean, people are excited. The things I saw, everybody's like, they're marking this on a calendar. This is like a big event in the black community. From what Black Twitter's going crazy. That's what I hear.
Yeah,
I'm not on it, but like it's a big deal. And I
yeah,
think part of it is the irony of that song coming out a couple months ago or last month. That was a big deal. Everybody's got an opinion on both sides. I kind of understand some from both sides. Like it's really difficult. Like that song's it touches a nerve for a lot of people. There's a lot of things in that song that when you look at the lyrics, it's like, hey, he's not talking about anybody. And some people might perceive it that, hey, he's kind of talking about me, but that could be
mm,
internalization. Who knows?
right.
But I feel like it's I feel like there's just this undertone of that, man. And it's,
Yeah,
the irony of, and these guys got to know where they're at. How do you not know? Like, that'd be like, how do you not know, that you're in an area, okay, where you are, there's six of y'all, okay? If you want to play division here, there's six of y'all or eight of y'all and 800 of them. 800 black, six white, and you're gonna pick a fight? That's stupid. Number one, that's just
um,
dumb. You don't go to certain neighborhoods. I'm not gonna go if I'm Puerto Rican and I'm from Chicago. Okay, so if I'm Puerto Rican, I'm not going to certain neighborhoods and picking a fight when it's me and my two friends. That's a stupid idea. And these
right.
guys kind of did that, and they just So a lot of people feel like they got what they deserved. Karma's a bitch. These guys own some kind of uh, not a restaurant, but like a convenience store in Alabama. And there's been people trying to boycott this store now, and they're talking about going in this store and like picketing or whatever. So I don't think this is over, but it's unfortunate, man. Like I just feel like things like this don't have to happen, but we're very divided as a country, and that's the sad part for me because this is some guy's trying to do his job. He's telling, hey, you guys can't be here, and they don't
Yeah,
want to move. So that's the main issue, and it's a very simple thing. But because the country's so divided, we make something simple and we turn it into racially motivated when it doesn't have to be.
right. Yeah, I 100% agree. I think what we've noticed and over the last, I would say since Obama been president, this shift, people are using this to gain control of people politically,
Yeah.
the culture wars, also social media, what content gets pushed, gets the
Hmm.
more emotional reactions, gets the most clicks, and you get the most clicks, you get the most views, you get the most sponsors, make more money. So all sides are weaponizing this, and the victims
Yeah.
are people who are taking this and believing everything that you hear from some of these people. So
Good.
the song "Don't Try That," what's with that? Try that in a small town.
Yeah.
Now he's saying right, Jason Alden, that's
Aldine. Yeah.
this Aldi said the song represents the unspoken rule that
Yeah.
people raised in small towns and emphasizing community solidarity and looking out for each other, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Well, like you said, the irony of there's other communities, other cultures, they'll look out for each
Yeah.
other as well.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And again,
Yeah.
that may not have anything to do with race, right? Because you may have a
No.
community
No.
of different races, y'all. But if something happens in my community where my neighbor gets attacked, people will will help, right?
Yeah.
You could say that with the 16-year-old that went into the water and started swimming. He looked at it as like, hey, this is a person maybe in my community, or even like someone just getting hurt. I'm gonna try to help.
Yeah. He saw
It may
something
not
that was unjust.
right,
Eight guys beating on one dude. There's never no need for that. There's just not. So
right, and also that song is a really popular. I guess the theme is popular with the right, well, more of the extreme right of saying, the things that are happening in urban areas with the riots and all that kind of stuff.
right.
Well, try
Right.
in a small town. Well, no,
Right.
it won't happen because no one's there at the small town. Like there's no one rioting where these people are. Um,
Right.
I don't know if they feel threatened by what's happening in the larger towns or in the bigger
Mm.
cities. Um, if you're having a great community, embrace it. You don't have to worry about anything happening where you live.
Yeah.
I just feel like that's that kind of what's that term they called white flight? The reason why a lot of people left the urban areas and went to the suburban area because it was worried about crime. And listen,
Yeah,
there's tons of crime in this urban areas.
There's tons of crime. Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
but worried about
I
trying
live
a small town. Well, they're not coming to your small. But whatever. I mean,
right.
I understand the point of the song, but I don't know, man. Oh, and also it's interesting. The country music television decided to stop airing the music video.
Mm-hmm.
So, and, country music. I mean, that's we don't talk about it because I don't listen to country.
I don't
It's
listen to
probably
it.
It's probably the most popular genre under rap. I mean,
Well, this
country
song's
music,
this song's been number one for several weeks now.
Yeah, they yeah. If you want to make some money, if you can't rap, you can do some country music. You'll make some money because it's a very very popular. Very popular genre of music. But
I saw so many things today, and it's like listen, stereotypes are a thing. Let's not pretend like they're not. We're all adults here, okay? Stereotypes are a thing. They could be really funny too, right? Okay.
Oh yeah,
your favorite comedian loves the stereotypes. I like them too. Okay. So it's all about context, right? For me. Yeah. But I imagine these guys, right? I just do because based on how they look, I just imagine it, and that's maybe it's me. I could be wrong. They're on their boat. They're drinking their Michelob Ultras or whatever, right? and they're playing the Jason Aldean song at least twice. They're playing it. It's a popular song, okay?
Yeah.
And they're like, try that in a small town. See how far you make it down the road. And then they tried that in a small town with the security officer in uniform. The same shit Jason Aldean's talking about. Respect your police. Respect authority. They didn't do it. They're listening to that song. I know they did. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. And then they go and don't respect authority and get their ass beat. The irony in that, to me, is absolutely amazing. So that's the one thing I can take and be kind of like laugh about it because that they like that song. I don't care what you say. I'm stereotyping, but 99.9%, I'm sure they enjoy that song based on where they're from. They got the hats and like they do. So the irony is they're not practicing what they're preaching or what they believe because the security officer asked him to move and they did not. So the irony in that to me is they got what they got.
You got that's a good point, right? They said the connections where this happened.
Yeah.
The history of Montgomery, Alabama, that started a lot of the civil rights movement with the boycotting the buses because certain buses where you couldn't, black people had to get in the back of the bus, or if it was too full, you're not getting on the bus. The fact you said the other boat was called the Harriet Tubman.
The Harriet Tubman, bro. What?
You can't make this up. You can't make this up.
Yeah.
And it could be. And again, the other side is they were too damn drunk, full of I got a pontoon boat. My friend or my dad bought this boat, and I don't care what you say, whoever said it, and I'm gonna carrying it up, and then also you embarrass yourself, right? That's where the problem starts. And the sad point, it's funny we all making jokes. Black and white people got arrested.
Yep.
Black and white people could have got seriously hurt, and for what? It's a Saturday night or Sunday night or whatever. You're supposed to have a good time. It's pretty sad for the most part. I think it's pretty sad.
No, for sure. I think it just shows like these things have happened before, but right now, it's divided, man. And it doesn't need to be, but it really is. And I think I wanted to ask you this question because I thought about this today. Like, are we in a matrix, man? Like, is this? Some people think these things happen and they're set up. Now, I don't believe that, but it just seems too perfect of a story to keep us divided. Did you see the Harriet Tubman? Really? Like, seriously? In Montgomery, Alabama, a black security guard, an all-white, all-American family that are business owners and on a pontoon boat. Like, come on. And the three guys running out with no shirt, the guy swimming. Like, it just seems like a movie to me. It just seems weird. I don't know.
You know why? Because it's so outrageous. It looks fake. Like, how all this kind of came together like this. But these brawls happen. We just now, like you said, everyone has a cell phone. It's interesting. Sometimes I feel like I try not to record or take pictures of anything. Even in Colorado, like I use my phone to communicate, but I don't know. Maybe I make videos and I don't take my phone out to record everything. I don't know. And we weren't fighting. We were actually all having a good time.
Yeah.
But yeah, people are so quick to videotape violence.
Yeah.
But I remember as a kid, and I'm not gonna act like I'm, totally holding it out. When you were a kid and you knew two kids were going to fight after school, you made sure you were there to watch the fight, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Bro, listen,
Right?
The bell rings. Everybody's
Everyone's
going
excited.
to that spot. And there was
Yeah.
in most schools there was a spot where people would fight, and you go and you watch and you antagonize, and you hope somebody gets knocked out. Like that's
right.
That's,
or at least a good
yeah.
fight happened, and then if the person didn't show up for the fight, you clown them, you call them all types of things because you want to see a fight. So I understand that. I guess we call it that. I call that bloodlust, but I don't know, something that's inherent about violence, right? Or to witness it, right? I mean, people used to watch people fight to the death in the Coliseum, like to the death. And then now we watch we watch boxing. We were talking about boxing earlier, UFC. We want to see fights. But when you see women getting pushed around, old people getting pushed around and fighting, that especially that last scene with those old people and the dude swinging the chair, I don't want to see that.
I don't want to see that. No.
You hitting that lady that was on the ground. I understand it. Whatever. I barely saw what she did. I think she was probably a part of it. She was getting kicked already, getting stomped out, and you come with the chair on top of her head.
Yeah.
What is that about? Like where? Does that change anyone's mind on anything in terms of race relations, or just seems like that was a bit over the top? And I'm like, okay, this is not funny. Yeah. So.
Yeah. No, and that is definitely over the top because I didn't see, and like I said, we don't know everything. Is she saying certain things? Did she instigate something? We don't know. But if she's sitting her ass on the ground and you're a grown ass man and you take a chair and just like that's excessive, extremely excessive, and it's not called for. So
I would assume he probably regret that last swing. He was like,
he had to.
That was stupid because she was on the ground, man.
A lot of money and a lot of time. Yeah.
And also in Alabama, don't play around with the law. There's no parole. They'll say that you have one, but I remember watching. I forgot what show this. Maybe a Vice. So Vice is liberal, but they're saying that Alabama has the strongest parole regulations, meaning you ain't getting out. They don't parole you out. And they give you some harsh penalties for, and also Alabama has, they still got death penalty too. So like they don't play around. When you F up in Alabama, you go to jail. So that dude swinging that, they may hit him with like definitely a stronger than just a regular assault. You can't swing folded chairs. This is not. What is this, wrestling? What the fuck?
It's bad. It's bad. But some would say that Alabama has those kind of laws on purpose for a reason.
Right? Yes,
because of the population and it's this country, man. I mean, we got to remember there's a lot that's happened, especially in the South. And some people think that this is like a payback in some ways.
Yes, like you said,
it shouldn't be. We should not be doing that kind of stuff, right? Because these 4 people the 8 people, while they did something wrong. While they were disrespectful of authority, a security officer that his job is to make sure that area is clear so that the incoming boat can come and dock. That's all he was doing.
Exactly.
They don't deserve to be hit over the head with a chair. I don't. That to me is excessive. But I definitely feel like those, the guys coming in to help the security guard after being jumped or whatever. I got no problem with that at all. I got none.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I guess I'll be honest. I think, all right, once the initial, because I'm sure there's an initial lull and everyone's still a little aggravated. The cops they're not fast enough to get to that area. Once you got them cornered into the boat, why are you still trying to fight them? It's like they wanted more than what they had. They wanted to fight, but if they already backed them up, what else is there to do? Like the guy's not, security guy's up. So you know what I mean? Like they wanted more. And I think like we were saying how a lot of people on, Black Twitter and at this point, Instagram, Facebook.
Yep.
These group of people that got beat up is representative of the oppressor.
Yes.
All the white people and all the things that have been done wrong. These drunken fools represent something.
Yeah.
And no, they don't represent anything.
They don't.
They just
They're just
regular
drunk.
men.
They're just drunk. They're just drunk fools. You just said it perfectly.
Right.
That's all
That
it
got
was.
their
Yeah.
asses kicked. That, like I said,
Yeah.
defied authority. Apparently now authority is a big deal, and that's why I highlighted Garden State's comic. I think it's actually pretty good. Head on, nailed it right. What's really ironic is a lot of old country songs are anti-establishment and armed against authority and governments. Yeah.
Because these old country songs were coming from poor areas, and they also were disenfranchised at times and didn't like the cops and the government. Absolutely, that's true.
Yeah.
But country music now is very different, I think, than it was
because we're bouncing around between extremist viewpoints. So now, the country is all about military, pro cop, and pro. Like, wait a minute, like they say, especially like I said, some of these white dudes from the South, they're rebels, right? They don't like authority.
No,
I mean, they left the Union at one point. I mean, none of us were alive for that. But the idea now we're just standing on every authority figure, like, so no cops are corrupt, the military, and there's no military industrial complex. Politicians don't have us perpetually in wars for money. No. It's just because what? Because a few cultural warrior crap is popping up with Disney having a gay character. Like, really, we're all connecting everything together, and I think that's the biggest problem.
Well, that's part of the division. There are a lot of powers that be that I think want to keep us divided, and I say that only based on the things that I think media makes important, the things that are pushed out to us, the kids. Like, there's that there are powers here at hand that show us things or don't show us things and want to push agendas. And I think there are a lot of agendas going on. That's why we have to take personal responsibility, like teach your kids or yourself or your family or your friends, like make sure like they're actually having good information and not just being like leaning one side too much. I think you talked about the extremism. I think it's on both sides. And I can't rock with that on either side because it's too emotional and it's not dealing in reality, in my opinion, sometimes. But the division's still there and it's crazy.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Extremist viewpoints, they weird me out, but also it's extremely fascinating that, and it happens everywhere. It happens in, the content that we make, right? We make stuff about the gig economy, and I think most people have a nuanced view of it, but there's also those who are extremists to a level of ignorance that they don't even know what they're talking about. They haven't even. It's like they're talking about a book and they haven't read the whole book. I think they maybe saw the table of contents in the book, maybe to the cover. And then they start creating a narrative like, wait a minute, you didn't read the book. Because we know we didn't read the book. Because over here, page 25, we're saying, hey, there's balance to this. If you want to try gig work, it don't work, cool. If not, move on.
But it's like they read the first 1 or 2 chapters and assume what is in the next 10,
correct,
without reading it, and their ego and the intelligence they have steers them down the lane based on two paragraphs or 2 chapters, and they haven't gotten through the whole book. And then eventually, those human beings, in my opinion, make themselves look like fools down the line because they haven't read the other chapters.
Or at least be honest. Like, I didn't watch this whole video. I didn't read this whole book. But let me just tell you my thoughts. I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna turn it because I don't want. But at least give everyone the warning. Hey, man, I have a book review. I didn't read the book. All right, let's start.
Yeah. But I'll give you my opinion on what I've read, and if something else is there, then you guys can tell me in the comments. But there's too many people that I feel like when you have these extreme people, they feel like they're smarter than they are. And they wear that badge of it. I'm a extreme. I'm this, and I'm going to be different. And they wear that as like it's honorable. But there's a lot of ignorance in that, and I think, in my opinion,
definitely. I don't know. Life is not one color, man. There's nuance, and that's the problem with the social media, and I think media in general. Nuance isn't rewarded because it's just not emotionally, it doesn't grab the person, the viewer, to check it out. So I understand that's how it works. But I actually have another video real quick. I was gonna play it. Let's
watch it.
All right.
I saw this.
Yeah.
This is good.
This is awesome. The thing just happened. And we all, you know what I mean? Like,
see, this is what we need more.
Right. And then there's someone swimming. Like that's fun.
That's so good. We got the chair guy coming in. It's so good, man.
That's fun. That's fun.
Because that these are neighbors. These people know each other, and they said, you know what? Let's do a reenactment, and they got together and did that. So, like I've always said, we are more similar than we think we are, and I think we need to hold on to that. A lot of us look at a face, a color, a neighborhood, a last name, or where you went to school, a political belief or religious belief, whatever, and they look at that and they put you in a box. We got to stop doing that, y'all. Like, we are more similar than we are different, in my opinion. I believe that, and I have a lot of different types of friends, different viewpoints, and that's why I can say that. And
well, Pedro, you have pushed it. I mean, you can speak on this. You are bringing the races together in your life. You know, considering
am I? I guess I am.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Well, considering you're in an interracial relationship, remember? Your woman is white. All right, doesn't matter.
She is. Yeah, I love her though. And my daughter's the whitest of the whites. Yeah, baby blue eyes.
Your daughter's amazing.
She's amazing.
She did stop moving. She stopped running eventually.
Bro.
Did she? I don't know. She was all over the place.
She's all over the place, man.
Nova Dash, like I'm saying, Nova Dash. Nova hustles 10 out of 10, definitely. And it kind of shows, like, I don't know. I think at least I thank my mom for this of just being nice to everyone. So, like, I haven't had that many negative interactions with other races of people, to be honest. I'm sure there's a few here and there, but when you get to know people, it really isn't that big of a deal, to a point where I like making jokes about race. I do it all the time. You know, like when I was watching the boxing match a couple of years ago with I think Mayweather and Conor McGregor, like at the fight party, it was a lot of all different. I think at that point I was probably working at the job. I went into the fight party. I was like, race war. Everyone started laughing. Like, it was not that big a deal because we're not stuck on that. But like you said, different areas, people are more sensitive to that. Alabama, of all places, probably the most, right?
Yes, and I think based on your personal history and what you've been through, you obviously might have a different feeling, and that's okay. But you have to understand that that's your personal experience.
Yeah, exactly.
That might not be everybody's experience that is like you.
Exactly.
And that's where we have to have just more dialogue and less division. So
definitely. So before we end it, real quick, I don't watch a lot of soccer. But Pedro, I'm sure you probably are familiar with what happened.
I am. Yeah.
So the women, which this is kind of surprising, because I thought they just win. I thought they just show up like the men's basketball team. We just show up and get the gold.
No, it's never happened before. So it's
yes.
Yeah.
So this is the equivalent of if we had a knockout tournament for NBA basketball, or US basketball, we get knocked out is it the knockout round? Or they were in the round of 16. So in the World Cup, you get the stages. Yes. Yeah. So they were a round of 16, and they did not make it to the semifinals or whatever for the first time ever. And they were the number one team in the world, number one ranked. They're back-to-back World Cup champions, and they sucked the entire tournament. Yes, heard about that.
Looked very old, no scoring, didn't look engaged, did not look motivated, inspired, didn't have any swagger. And American ladies soccer is known for having swag and kind of pizzazz and very, very good. Nothing. And they got smoked. And it's kind of embarrassing because they talk a lot of shit. The ladies talk a lot of shit. We should be paid like the men. We're better than them. We win World Cups. And they just got, it was kind of an embarrassment. Very surprising.
And I didn't know how bad they were playing, but I started to. Apparently, there was some criticism even before that, because I think they seemed like they weren't angry tying with, I think, Portugal, or a team that they shouldn't have been tied. They should have been beating these teams. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people are hating them because of the main face, Megan Rapinoe, her behavior, her talking points. When they won the World Cup a couple years, the last one. President Trump invited him to the White House. They decided not to. She's been very vocal about how men can play in women's sports and the whole transgender thing.
She said that men should be able to play, like
Yeah,
a man.
yeah, she's full on. If a man says I'm a woman,
should we talk about that on Wednesday, bro? A little bit,
if you want to talk about it, because this is why a lot of people were lot of people, especially on the conservative side, were happy that not only they lose, she missed a penalty kick. They made it seem like, I mean, it didn't look good. It was off by a foot. If she would have, if it was a foot less, it went corner. I think it was corner right. It would have
went in.
The goalkeeper couldn't grab that.
Yeah.
But the fact that she kicked it, then smiled, which again could have been a nervous or like, I can't believe she probably thought, I know what's going to happen now. I know what's going to happen on social media. I know what's going to happen.
Because she's extreme kind of. She leans way left a little bit, some would say.
Correct.
So the way right are like happy and rejoicing, which is silly, but they are.
Yes.
Didn't do good. Yeah.
But they're, and again, like you said, the fact that they fought for, I guess, a better pay model when, again, it's all about business. The men's team, the U.S. men's team is not as good as, obviously.
Yeah, but they get more views. And
it's about the money. It's about the revenue. The men were making more money for some reason. Just because the women's team was winning the gold cups, they deserve more money. And that's not how business works. But again, the men took it because at this point, can you argue they're going to look bad? But the fact that should they get paid as much as the men? They got knocked out so early. I mean, did the men make it a little farther? Probably not. I gotta look it up.
The men made it. No, the men did not make it out of their stage, I believe.
I thought they did a little better than we thought. But yeah, right.
They did okay. They only scored like 1 or 2 goals. They had a lot of draws.
Right.
But they did not do as poorly as the women, but they did not do well. But yes, I think you're right to say they didn't do as they maybe were a little better than expectations, and the women were way low on the expectation scale. Yeah.
Sure. This is her last year. I think she's done playing professionally, and a lot of people are saying that she is kind of I think it's her brand, her attitude probably hurt the team. When you're, again, maybe you were too overconfident, maybe you weren't about the social stuff rather than being the best possible player. I think one person made a point, they play like individuals when it's supposed to be a team sport.
Yes.
Maybe they're getting older. They're not as good as it used to be, perhaps.
I think the assembling of the team was their issue. I think they had a couple women that were names, but weren't better players, or they weren't the player they were 4 years ago. But they were on the team for the name recognition and the branding, and that's the reason why they lost, in my opinion.
Yeah. And I guess it's kind of sad that there's so many people who cheered for the team losing, because that's weird.
It's pretty anti-American, isn't it? The hypocrisy of the right to mock them for not winning, but they're also the people that are like so pro-American. The hypocrisy there is ironic to me.
You know what the counter to that
You're happy that you lost to Sweden. Like, that makes no sense,
The counter to that is that many people believe, at least definitely the conservatives believe, that Mega Rapinoe does not like being an American. She thinks they're anti-American. She's not kneeling. She's kneeling when the anthem
and that's
is there.
Ironic because she's playing for the team. That makes no sense, right?
Which you think, but at the same time, the whole the patriot guys, like, if you don't you're not representing America. You're not putting your heart. You're not singing the national anthem and crying, and you're not. Then why should I root for you? You don't like America. You think America is terrible. So again, that extremist nuances. You can criticize America and still play for America, but there is no middle ground. It's either you love it or hate it, and I think that's why they think, well, she hates America, so I'll see her lose and laugh.
Yeah.
Because I love America. Like, that's what I've seen. Because conservative Twitter, you got Black Twitter talking about this situation. Conservative Twitter was very happy that her missing the kick was like the cherry on the top, man.
Yes, very much so. It'd be like if you don't like LeBron James and he misses a free throw that would have won a game, they would have been all over him. It's very similar in that regard, Yeah.
Oh no, bro. It's basically that. It's kind of that. And again, it had nothing to do with that. You could just say, well, she just really, really was bad that day. Right?
Yeah.
I
She
don't
missed
know
the
how
kick.
well. I'm assuming she's very famous for her play, but also the social stuff. Like, is she a
No,
great
she's
player
good
or
though.
was?
Let's not get no. She's really, really, really good. Like
Okay.
she scored like last year when they won. She was scoring every match 2 goals. Like she's very
Okay.
good. So it's
Okay.
not that she has the voice because she's good.
Right.
Okay,
Okay.
she's won awards. So it's not that she's not good and only has an opinion and blue hair. She's also very, very, very good at what she does. So
Gotcha. And
yeah,
apparently she's with Sue Bird. I didn't know that.
yeah, they're married. Yeah, Sue Bird.
Yeah.
Shout out to Sue Bird. Yeah,
Interesting. Well, won't say anything more about that. I had one, but nope, not going to say
I do
that.
want to bring up Kevin brought up a good point. I'll give my 2 cents on it. So
Oh
Tim Anderson and
yeah,
Jose
man.
Ramirez. So Tim Anderson's known for being he talks a lot of shit. Great,
Yeah.
good player. He got knocked out, and it wasn't what's funny about to me. It wasn't a hard punch. It was a right hook. Kind of caught him on the corner.
But the way
Wasn't-
he was down, so I feel like
he got knocked
did a
out.
wind up on him, and
Maybe,
he got him
yeah.
in the right hit, the right spot. Because we
never
was
gonna
watching that.
recover
We
from
watched that
were
at
watching-
the we was watching the boxing fight. So we was watching it and we saw another screen of I guess Pedro, you're the baseball guy. So clearly Ramirez was upset of how the tag went.
Yeah,
Like,
and then he
explain
was
exactly
standing
what I break down.
and he was standing over him
Okay.
in a way. But also
annoying.
there's history between these two teams. Tim
Right.
Anderson talks a lot of shit. He's like Draymond Green in that way. Talks a lot, very, like
Is
boisterous.
he worth it? Is he worth the bullshit?
Tim Anderson's he's good, but he's not great. But he talks a lot. And so, and these teams, the Indians and the Histories they play in the same division. The last few years, they've had a lot of words back and forth. So this was kind of a culmination of that.
Yeah.
And Ramirez, he don't fuck around, dude. So I'm not surprised. Tim Anderson's also a pretty tough guy. At least he seems.
I mean, Tim Anderson knuckled up. So
he
so
knuckled
this
up.
is how
He
it
threw the
worked.
gloves
He
down.
was like, all right, we're gonna fight.
Yeah.
So he shot a fair one and lost a fair one.
He
As it broke up in the I think Murray it was a right hand, I think.
It was a right hand to like this.
It came out of nowhere because you could tell there's a height difference. Well, homeboy Turk had all of his core and connected perfectly.
Yeah, Anderson
and
fell back completely.
He was stunned. He was. I don't know. He may not even made an 8 count. If someone he fell back. He was done. He was not there.
And the
that's
problem
embarrassing.
This is going to be what Tim Anderson's going to be remembered for, because he's not great enough to like go on a run and go to the Hall of Fame. He's just not that guy. So he's going to be remembered as the guy that got knocked out on his ass at second base.
So which one was worse, the Jose Tuve, I think I pronounced it, or him? I think that he's another one that got hit. I don't think he got knocked out.
Oh, I think this Tim Anderson one's way worse. Yeah.
Yeah.
This one
he got clapped, but I don't remember
because he started it too. He started it. He was the guy that dropped the gloves and said, "Let's go." And Jose was like, "All right," boop, knocked him out. So
yeah. I remember reading some of the comments from Ramirez. It's like like I said, he doesn't play well for the game. He's a dirty player. Just like I said, that kind of energy.
Yeah.
Brought him to get, and then we all need every once in a while. All of us need to be humbled. We need our ass kicked in one way or another. No, don't have to necessarily be physical, but sometimes we can be feeling ourselves, and we need something in our lives to kind of point out and say, "Stop and slow down. You're not that cute, or you're not that good."
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully he's okay. Like I said, he's not going to say the greatest player, but now he'll kind of like think about it, like, hey man, you got fucked up there. Have you learned anything?
He got suspended, I think 6 games. Ramirez got 3 games.
No. Are you serious?
Yeah. Because he started it.
Weird.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that's what's up. I don't know if in basketball they would do that though. You think so?
Who knows? Yeah.
The person who started a fight, but he wound up getting his knocked out. Like
gets more games.
I mean, I like it. I mean, baseball a little weird because they have these unwritten rules.
They do.
That sometimes don't make any sense. Like if you hit me you beam me on purpose. But if I keep my bat and run it after and hit you with it, I'm the bad guy.
Yeah.
Even though you hit me with a 90 something, like you can kill me with that ball, but I can't take the bat and beat you with it.
Right.
Who made that rule up?
I don't know. We're not condoning the beating of men with bats. So let's just get that out the way.
I'd say this right now. I mean, I'm not a baseball player. I'll never be one. you couldn't throw a ball at me, and you couldn't. No, I'm not doing it. I
Yeah,
don't care.
yeah. I
Unwritten
mean,
rule was I'm gonna write a new rule. I'm gonna take this bat. Do
okay,
not
yeah.
throw a ball at me on
Yeah,
purpose.
Hannibal, don't play buzz. Don't play
Don't worry, I can't. I wasn't able to hit the ball anyway.
because everybody gets hit at some point. So
But the intentional one, not the accident
yeah,
one,
no,
not
the
the ones that be
intentional one.
like, oh,
The
whoopsie,
intentional.
yeah, whoopsie do. All right,
Yeah.
but it's like, oh, because my teammate threw, like my pitcher threw and hit
Right.
someone, they're gonna hit
Right.
me. No.
See,
No.
and I'm going to tell you this right now. We can revisit this when it happens. These teams are going to play probably another 10 times this year or something, or 12 times, right? Because they're in this division. What's going to happen is Jose Ramirez and both Tim Anderson, the teams will be warned. Both of those guys will be thrown at because that's how baseball is. It's these unwritten rules.
Right.
Somebody from the White Sox is going to want to protect their guy. And they're going to hit Ramirez. It's probably going to be somewhere in the ass. No big deal. He'll take his base. And somebody's going to do the same to Tim Anderson. It's just how it might not happen in the first game. It could be the last, but it's going to happen because that's what baseball does. So
that's interesting. I don't want to go in the race thing, but I wonder if the MLB would like 70% black, I think that rule would have been thrown out. Because
maybe
I'm not saying they all behave that way, but it would not work. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna go for it. Just that would not work. That would have been stopped a long time. It would have been one terrible situation of a dude taking a bat, and it'd be like, okay, we gotta stop that. This is stupid. Because if you purposely throw a ball at somebody, and I just gotta say, oh, got hit in the butt, I'll just walk to my. Nah, dog, it ain't happen like that. I don't know.
Yeah, baseball's different, bro. It's the one sport. If you look at it, it's the most diverse out of all of them.
Yeah,
baseball has the most diversity out of any sport, and it's not even close. You got.
I think it's still. I mean, it used to be more black people.
No, it's very Latin, right? It's very Latin.
Yeah. It's fine. I mean, that's it's culture.
It's very diverse.
It's culture thing. Like black people, for some reason, we just want to throw a basketball and hoop or football
and hit people with chairs.
And hit people. Well, definitely that guy.
And white people don't want to move their pontoon boat. It's crazy. What's going on here?
Like, and the funny thing is, I want a pontoon boat. But I swear to God, if someone came to me and said, "Can you move your pontoon boat?" Yeah, no problem, man. I'm drunk.
Yeah.
First of all, too much drinking and boating. I think that's the problem.
Right? That's a big problem. Now, I let me be honest with you guys. Now, if I've been out boating and I've been having some beers, some Mick Ultras, whatever, right? Bud Lights, whatever, right? And somebody's like, "Hey, I need you to move your boat," and he kind of gives me a little sass. I'm probably going to give it back,
right?
But I'm going to move my boat because that's what you know what I'm saying. Like you don't escalate it.
I want to mess with my property. Also, if I'm not right, like I'm not right in this, so let me move my property. I don't want any issues to happen. But like you said, he may have came with the kind of because we all dealt with security guards who are a little bit take their jobs very seriously, and they have an attitude, but you still gotta follow it because look what happened. Well, they're all in jail. Damn, I could have just moved this fucking boat, and I would not be in jail, really beat up. I'm sure they're gonna get doxxed. I think I already saw some pictures of them posing. I don't know if that was them, but now their whole lives are going to be altered because they couldn't move a damn boat.
Yeah, it's so silly. It's funny. Things are more simple than we make them out to be.
True.
We have to, and I'm learning, and I've been better at it. You got sometimes, especially us men, we have to start putting our pride and ego to the side situationally and pick our battles.
Gotta think.
Okay, nobody's calling your wife out. Nobody's slapping your kid around. You see what I'm saying? Like it's not that big of a deal. Move your boat and continue on with the rest of your day with your family. Like we gotta start making better decisions.
I was ranting to my son about, and he did something silly. But I was like, you gotta think. You have to think before you act. So you have to figure out, okay, does this make sense?
Yeah.
I don't know, he probably wasn't listening, but whatever. But that kind of like you really have to take a step back and look at the situation, and also surround yourself with people who got you have your best interests at heart. So
absolutely,
if you did get overly drunk and embarrass yourself, then you got people that will grab you and separate. One could escalate into a brawl.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Absolutely. You got to get the good people around you too. So
I'm not somebody that partakes. We were in Denver. I had a gummy, but I knew I was with Hannibal. So I knew if I did something stupid, he's got my back. He ain't going to let me be. So I felt comfortable and nothing happened. We were good. Right. So you have to understand and surround yourself with people that you feel good with and comfortable. Like, like that's a really good point. And when you get liquored up or get drugged up, or these guys were drunk and cooler heads needed to prevail, and that didn't happen. So
definitely. But we already we kind of ran over time a little bit here, but of course, always amazing and having a good time talking to Pedro.
Listen,
I guess he wants to talk about
Cray.
trans in sports next, so it's gonna be another crazy one.
So shout out to Cray Cray. She was at GigCon. She's challenging me to a one-on-one match at the next event. Cray Cray.
You talking about basketball?
She's talking about basketball. She just publicly challenged me. So hey,
do you want me to talk for you about your skills, or you want to do it?
Go ahead, please. Go ahead. Give her
So Pedro is a St. Louis street ball legend. So Cray, you have to understand that his jumper stays wet, as he says. He stays wet actually. But the jumper, he got a basketball in hand. He's he'll cross fools up. He keeps the hand up when he takes a shot like Jordan. So Craig, just listen. You know what you putting yourself into when you mess with street ball legend.
Thank you, Hannibal. Appreciate that. Checks in the mail, brother. Checks in the mail.
I think we all gotta play. I can't play, dude. So I will tell you guys right now. I'll be dribbling. You ever see the movie, TV show, The Office?
I have. Are you Michael Scott?
No, I'm Stanley. So he's like, "Come on, Stanley, and Stanley dribbled the ball in the most
don't they pick him like Michael picks him because he's black and
he's black
be able to play.
And Michael's like, I can't believe this. Like, when you serious, you can't be serious right now, right?
That's me. So classic, man. classic.
But yeah, we're gonna be talking about that. I'm sure. I don't know if anything just crazy may happen in the next 48 hours, but
we'll have something for you guys on Wednesday. So
yeah, in this simulation that we're living in, probably. Yeah. But thank you guys for coming in, sticking around with us. Put the like, subscribe, all that type of crap. We definitely appreciate everyone that's always hanging out with us every week. And we'll be back on Wednesday. Peace.